Hello everyone, I hope you're all doing excellent. Today I'm sitting here in the FC after I enjoyed doing some work on it. So the video is going to be in a little bit of a reverse order because unfortunately all the beginning work I did, the audio didn't turn on for some reason. Microphone didn't start. So I'm going to pick things back up after I give you a little rundown of what I did when the audio picked back up. So kind of an amateur mistake, but I hope you enjoy the video. Anyway. So I got this Autometer boost gauge installed right here. It looks really, really great. So period correct. This piece I've had for, God, probably since like 2004, 2005. Jeff actually bought it for me because just like on this FC, my previous FC, the boost gauge didn't work. And we wanted to see it. We thought it was cool. So he got this for me. They actually sold cool good gauges like this at AutoZone and Kragen back in the day. And now of course AutoZone is Napa and Kragen and O'Reilly are merged together. You can get some Equus gauges there, but nothing like this. So anyway, got this installed today, and part of the challenge was, if you can see behind here, I had to put it back together because the light was missing from it, so it didn't illuminate, and I put some like a whole bundle of these orange LEDs inside there and wired that up. And then I needed to get a new vacuum line kit because unfortunately when the other FC caught fire, that melted inside the engine bay, and so I got the correct fittings from Autometer for that. But just sitting here looking at the cool style of the FC interior with this nice Momo wheel and this boost gauge here, it looks really, really good. Wish I could get this filled in though. That looks kind of janky, but I got the truss shift knob. This nice quality dash cover helps a lot because, as you know, these old dashes get beat up in the heat, but this looks really, really cool. Other than that, I just got the car cleaned up and ready to go because I'm going to be taking it for a short road trip tomorrow for a work training session I need to teach up in LA area, Orange County area. And so I thought, well, why not one final ride before we pull the motor out? Because if you've been keeping it up with the channel, or if you're new, we are going to swap a motor in that I built for the other car that unfortunately caught fire into this FC, and we're just about ready to pull the engine here. So today I just changed the oil, aired up the tires, checked all the belts, you know, just did all those sorts of things, got gas, and ready to take her for a nice ride. Cleaned her, obviously, cleaned the wheels and everything, took care of a few odds and ends around here. So now I'm going to cut you into about halfway through installing that boost gauge. All right, and here we have the gauge. So from the side you can obviously see the cords, or the power wires and the vacuum line. I wanted to tuck it back here as far as possible so that it has these nice swooping turns instead of obviously a kink, because it's just that nylon tubing. So from the front, looks great. From the side, a little bit of stuff showing. Not a huge deal. I love it. It's period correct. It's very sentimental. And I'm happy that I got the lights working again. And I don't know if you saw when I showed you, or if I mentioned it already, but they're orange LEDs, which is cool because all the interior lighting of the FC is orange, so it kind of matches. So I didn't show the installation portion of that vacuum line on the back because it's difficult to work in there in that space and film. So I'm going to show you on this one. It's the same, this going in here. But before I cut this to length, because obviously I have some extra, I'm going to go ahead and secure everything down in there underneath the dash where I want it, because nothing's worse than cutting and then realizing you need to reroute something. So I'm going to take care of that first. Now, this piece is an NPT thread, so it goes right on here. We tighten this down, and since it's tapered NPT thread, we will get a nice seal. So this should be a 13, which it is. So we'll just tighten this down. NPT is like AN as well, snug to fit, or tight to snug rather. Nothing too crazy, it's not torqued down or anything. And this fitting we're tightening it onto is plastic. If it was metal, I would probably put some Teflon tape on there, but these threads are gonna compress and make an airtight seal. So just tighten that down, step one. Good. Now with our nylon tube here, we're gonna slide everything on like I just showed you, but it's gonna go in there like that. You can see we have so much extra space left. So we're gonna need to route this. And I think an easy thing to go off of is this AC condenser line here, because it's gonna come off right where we want it to be. And we can even rotate this around down if we wanna make it face that. So I'm gonna get some zip ties, get that together, and then we'll cut it to length. First, this one goes on. Like so. And then very carefully, not to drop this in the engine bay. So I'm going to hold this tight with my fingers and put this in. You just angle it right and then it slides right on. Very good. So next, that goes in there. That slides on down to there. Like that. And then this will do the rest of the compression on there. So just get it started. It's a 10 millimeter. There we go. So we should have it now. Beautiful. Looks great. A little bit of slack here we can work with if we need to. And that should be good. So let's test it out. So this should work perfectly. There we go. And we're reading vacuum, which is perfect. Wonderful. Well, I like that a lot. Now that that is done, this should be all dry enough to install. This poor thing's been super glued back together multiple times, but that's just the nature of the brittle plastic. You can see it doesn't look perfect, but it looks a damn sight better than having no cover. So let's go ahead and put this back on. So this goes up here. We gotta slide our little grommet in. Oops, I have this backwards. Over here. This car did not come with a connected windshield wiper. So I actually got this all connected myself and ran the wires and zip tied them onto the new struts when we installed the new struts on this thing. So little by little, you know, trying to make this thing as nice as possible. Don't know why this isn't fitting just right. Could have been all the custom work I just mentioned. Come on. Let's get one of these started. So I have two options for screwing it in because this one's broken. That one's super glued. So this one is going to be my main one. I'm going to tighten a little bit, not much, just snug like that. And then I'll barely put this one on just to hold it in place so it doesn't rattle and break again. Don't crack, don't crack. It's making some noise. There. That is good enough for me. Now I have to remember that I can't put much back here, so when I shut it, it doesn't crack that off again. Chances are it will happen again, but until that day, this should be good. Please don't crack when I shut you. Still in one piece? Still in one piece. Great! This girl still has her metering pump, so let's see if we need any oil. Yeah, we could add a little bit there. I came with this cool looking oil cap, D speed, I don't know if that's a cool JDM brand or not, but if it is, and then maybe if you want it, hit me up, because I could care less. Of course, we're just using regular conventional 20W50. Yep, just needed 1 quart. Perfect. There we go. I think that's it under the hood for today. Next thing I'm going to do while the camera battery recharges is I just want to polish up the front. I'm not sure what happened, if somebody hit me or whatever, but obviously could look a little better. So I'm going to take care of that. Well, I made some pretty good progress. She's looking nice and shiny. Tape measure's holding down the windshield sprayer that I mentioned earlier. I just put a little bit of RTV around it, cleaned it off, and it's just sitting there so it'll kind of stay in place. It's the only solution I could think of. Front lip, can't do much about all this. It's actually, there's road wear damage. It's not going to polish off. But, I mean, she's looking shiny. I actually did the wheels, did the tire wet stuff. Stuff I don't usually do, did the glass. I'm about to go ahead and vacuum her out. I just feel like I wanted to have a nice, good road trip one last time with the stock setup. Now, needless to say, that's completely ignoring the chip paint here. This bumper, or this fender's still dented in. I've got missing clear coat up there. I've got a dent in the door. You know, but I feel like even Han Solo would wash the Millennium Falcon, and that thing was beat up. So, you know, that's how it is when you got a project car. You feel like it's your Millennium Falcon. Sometimes you got to bang on a panel to make it work right, but, you know, you love it. It's a labor of love, and it's a lot of fun. So, I'm just kind of passing time until the sun goes down, which is a while from now, since daylight savings time is over. But I want to take it for a drive at night and showing the gauge cluster with the boost gauge lit up and get some gas for the road trip tomorrow. And yeah, I think I'm just going to grab the vacuum, and I'll catch up with you guys a little later when I'm ready for a test drive. Guys, I totally messed up. The bad news is I already went on the road trip. The great news is the FC did awesome. Now, I wanted to do this shot at night so we could see how the boost gauge here looked. And although I can see it pretty well, I don't think you can see it at all. But we are going to take a quick zip around the block just to see if the GoPro picks anything up, because I think it looks really cool right now. So I don't know if the driving clips came out too well, and it is hard to see. I can read the face of this. I don't know if I'm going to be able to brighten it up a little bit, but this is like the general view of the instruments at night, and it looks so cool. I've always loved the orange look of these instruments. I don't know why. And then this sitting right in the middle, which has the boost, I'm really a fan of it. Looks like I need fuel. I'm trying to get the radio accents to be as orange as possible, but they just kind of came out pink. But yeah, anyway, I'm obviously going to get a shot of this during the day so you can at least see the boost gauge working. So I'll be back in just a second. This is the daytime view, just so you can see we're warmed up so we can hit a little boost. Working well. Alright everyone, so that's pretty much it. Just wanted to do some last few mods and or just this one, but get a few things tightened up and just enjoy a nice long drive and a little bit before take her apart. So I mean, why am I taking this thing apart? Obviously we know we want to make more power, we want to make this a real mean machine. It's running great, and I guess worst case scenario, put everything back together again. Just remember guys, click the link in the below if you click the link in the description below if you haven't already taken a look at signing the RPM Act to protect our cars, including cars like this one. Be kind to each other out there, and remember, when they ask you, tell them you want more.